Welcome to Things to Make with Eggs. If you have ever had a surplus of eggs and don't have the time to use them all, and you wonder what you can do to preserve them, here's one way. So, as you can tell, we are going to freeze some eggs today, and it is super simple and something that comes in handy. So, if you've got a surplus and you want to stick some in the freezer, that works out great. That way, in the event that eggs get really high in price again, you've already got some ready to go that you can use in recipes and other food dishes as you need to. So, just to get started, all you'll need to do is make sure your eggs are nice and clean and that they are washed before you decide to crack them. You'll go ahead and grab a freezer bag, and you're obviously going to want to label how many eggs you're putting in that bag, and you're going to want to put the date that you are freezing them on so you know how long those eggs have been frozen for. So, in case you're wondering how long frozen eggs will stay good, technically they will stay good up to 1 year. Now, they will taste the best and you'll get the most out of them within the first 6 months. I personally use eggs enough in all of my cooking and making breakfast that I don't think mine would last up to a year. I think mine may last a few months at most. But if you don't use eggs all that often, technically they can store that long as they are properly stored. So that's the key, is just making sure that you have them in the right containers to store them for up to 1 year. So personally, what I like to do is I will go ahead and crack all of my eggs in a glass. And I do that because A, I don't want to crack them in the bag in case any shells get in there and I have to fish them out. And B, it's a lot easier to pour from a glass as opposed to something like a bowl into a freezer bag. I also really enjoy that out of this, I'm also able to get some eggshells, which I can dry and either crush up and add to my garden to enrich the soil with some calcium, or I can give them back to my chickens to ensure that their eggshells as they lay are nice and hard. So you can technically do this one of two ways. You don't have to mix the eggs before you pour them in, but I prefer to do so. If you just prefer to crack them and pour them in, that's just fine. But what I'm going to do is before I pour them into the bag, while they're still in the cup, I'm going to go ahead and give them a good stir and make sure they're nice and incorporated together. And then I'm going to go ahead and load them into my freezer bag. Once they're in the freezer bag, I'm going to make sure I have a lot of the air squeezed right out. I'm going to give it a good seal, and then I'm going to pop it in the freezer and make sure they get frozen solid so they preserve longer. And there you have it. As you can see, this is extremely simple, easy to do, and you can get a lot of life out of your eggs other than just storing them in the fridge. So if you've ever stored some eggs like this, I'd love to hear it in the comments below, or if you're interested in doing so and you want to get started, also tell me about it because I really want to know if this is something people are interested in doing. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Follow me for recipes like this and other things to make with eggs.